So this right here is the brief mood survey. It addresses depressive symptoms, suicidal urges, anxious symptoms, anger, how happy the client is, and their relationship satisfaction. And it's taken before and after session. Like I said, it takes about 3 minutes. And this, which you can barely see, is the evaluation of therapy. So this is done at the end of session, and it's the client evaluating how well the therapist was empathetic, how helpful the session was, how satisfied they were with the session, their commitment to doing homework, um, their negative feelings about the therapy session. So this is to it's to help the therapist and the client to have a more cohesive relationship. So this is an area where the client can bring up stuff about the session that maybe wasn't so helpful or that they really liked about the session. And then this is brought up the next session so that the client and the therapist can, address these issues. If the client didn't feel like they were being listened to, if the client felt that the therapist was too focused on methods or that they weren't helpful enough. This is just to help the therapist provide more effective therapy. And this is the daily mood log. This is where the client would be writing negative thoughts, their feelings. And then as you can see here, there's a before and after, rating their emotions of each thing. And then this is the before and after for their beliefs and the negative thoughts. So the level of evidence to support TEAM-CBT is, it's pretty low. There are a couple studies that are very promising, but there's only a handful of them. But since it is CBT, it is still considered an evidence-based practice because you are performing CBT. The only thing that's added that's different is the training on empathy, the process of agenda setting or like reducing patient resistance. And then there are new methods in CBT, but a lot of classic ones too, to help the client change their negative beliefs. And the founder of TEAM-CBT was one of the pioneers in cognitive therapy and worked closely with Aaron Beck, who is considered the founder of cognitive behavioral therapy. So these are just the actual studies. One study was with 116 adolescent young adults who received TEAM-CBT treatment. During the course of treatment, 80% of individuals reported no longer meeting the requirements for clinical depression, and 87% no longer met criteria for anxiety. There was symptom reduction in every session. They just weren't all clinically significant. The reason that this was not a strong study is because there's no control group. So, you could chalk it up to placebo effect. It really had nothing to go against. And, this is the only study that there is. So there still needs to be a ton of randomized control trials and replication of this for it to be considered good evidence for this therapy. There was another study that examined a mobile app. Another study that examined a mobile app that went through the same process of TEAM-CBT, and it showed a significant reduction in symptoms of anxiety and depression. But again, there was no control group, but it is moving in the right direction. Alternatives to TEAM-CBT or CBT in general is interpersonal therapy, which helps client work on relationships. I found one study that found interpersonal therapy produced better outcomes than traditional CBT therapy. And then I found a meta-analysis about non-directive supportive therapy, which is basically like just supportive listening. And, the therapy doesn't really have an agenda, but this was found to be less effective than other therapies, but still effective. And this, this was a meta-analysis, so there were plenty of randomized control trials to look through. So the evidence is stronger. And these are my references. Thank you so much for listening.